Hi there! Welcome to the first ever MotorTrend Performance Vehicle of the Year. That's right, it's the first ever, but in case you forgot, MotorTrend has been doing Car of the Year since 1949. We invented it, and since then we've done all sorts of the year programs. SUV of the Year, Truck of the Year. We used to do Import Car of the Year. We used to do Best Driver's Car, and what Performance Vehicle is doing is it's replacing that by making it bigger and crazier with a much wider field, many more competitors, but it's not a comparison test. That Lamborghini that just drove away, it's not really going head to head with that Mustang Mach-E. Instead, what we're doing is we're using our 6 key criteria like we do for every of the year event. Advancement in design, engineering excellence, performance of intended function, safety value, and efficiency. What does this have in common besides the 6 key criteria with our other of the year events? We are at Hyundai's world-class proving ground. We're still using MotorTrend judges, and at the end of the program, we are still gonna vote for the 2022 MotorTrend Performance Vehicle of the Year. So come on, join me, let's have some fun. You guys ready?
Ready. When the judges first get on site, the first thing we do are walkarounds, where every judge has been assigned to research a couple of the cars in depth and present it to the rest of the group.
With your classic pony car, front engine, rear wheel drive.
Everyone gets a download of all the most important things.
The interesting thing about this car obviously is the engine. We've gone away from the turbocharged flat 4s the Porsche brought into the Boxster, the 718, I should say, range Boxster and came in 2016. That's the purists, die-hard, hardcore Boxster, other than the Spider.
So they know when they get into it, what settings are probably right, what the specs look like, what the performance looks like. So you have all these things in your head when you're ready to actually get in and drive them. And it can also be kind of fun show and tell. There's something really neat on a car. It's like, come here, like let me open this up and show you and point to this, or tell you where the stability control is so that you don't have to go hiding because it's in a corner or something. It's both informative, but it can also be lighthearted as well. It was hard to talk about the BMW M3 and M4 without everyone pointing and laughing at the front end of it.
Oh, so ugly. Oh, the nose! Oh, the kid!
It is pretty bad.
Oh, the humanity.
So apparently you guys have some opinions. We wanted to celebrate a broader range of vehicles, so not just traditional sports cars and sedans. That's why it's Performance Vehicle of the Year and not, say, Performance Car or Race Car of the Year. We know the vast majority of Americans are buying SUVs, and there's a lot of super sporty SUVs out there.
Braking, what was the braking?
100 feet.
That's
Dang.
insane.
Supercar.
That is insanity.
How do we sort of make the tent bigger, open it up, get more performance, more fun, different body styles, different types of performance, but then overlay this with this process that we're very familiar with, that people know us for, which is our car, truck, SUV of the year process. So this is something that we have a lot of history and experience doing. It's arguably the best, most prestigious award in the automotive industry. So we mash the two together. Performance Vehicle of the Year. Let's celebrate performance in all shapes and sizes.
The bad news for 2/3 of these cars is they're staying put. The good news is for about 1/3 of them, they are now finalists and they're moving on. First, we're gonna start on one of the best roads on planet Earth, Angeles Crest Highway. From there, we're moving on to Willow Springs International Raceway, specifically to the streets of Willow.
I absolutely love Angeles Crest Highway. I mean, it is one of the best driving roads in the world, frankly. When we do proper tests like this, we get this thing shut down because that's really the only safe, proper way to do it. And that really is a little freeing. It's safe to drive quickly, within your limits, of course. You really can drive without endangering anyone and without having to worry about endangering anyone and just evaluate the car.
It was like a second and third gear kind of thing for most cars, especially the higher horsepower cars. But there were a couple of slow speed corners that you were able to kind of, really wind down and then just power out. Again, as you kind of get that feel back and forth, and just you kind of get in tune with the road. These are the kind of cars that like absolutely do that kind of next level thing for you.
So all of our other years have a real world driving component. For Performance Vehicle of the Year, we wanted to, sort of level up on that. Realizing that these are high performance vehicles, we wanted to go to a stretch of road that a lot of enthusiasts, a lot of car people know and respect as a place that people can sort of enjoy the drive. So we went to Angeles Crest Highway, again, super famous mountain road in Southern California. We were there to evaluate real world driving, the bumps in the road, the real curves, not to go all out. We had track components for that, so safety first, but really to get out there and feel how these cars handle on real surfaces versus a test track was important to us. The Streets of Willow track was utilized for that full-on limit handling driving. We took our finalists out there to sort of do the final sort of evaluation, what these vehicles really feel like when you're all the way at the limit in a safe and controlled environment.
Oh, it absolutely has to sing in all aspects. It has to have an engine that really gets after it. It has to have performance from a ride and handling standpoint that is performance based. It has to be able to get around a track and be able to brake well, to be able to get into the corners and get out of the corners with force. And then it has to be able to make you feel like there's something extra there. And I think that's the thing about Performance Vehicle of the Year, to me, that's a little bit different than the other of the years. There's kind of this it factor, I think, with performance vehicles that you don't necessarily get with a point A to point B car. That extra feeling that you get, that you're in tune with the vehicle, that you feel like you can drive this thing to the best of your abilities and maybe even beyond that and be able to do it really well.
Winner debates tend to go one of three ways. Sometimes you come into an of the year and you have absolutely no idea what's going to win. There's a lot of really good cars and it's going to be a long discussion to figure out which one, rises to the top.
And there's an Oricon rear-wheel drive, there's an Oricon all-wheel drive, there's an Oricon Evo rear-wheel drive, Performante, there's all these other ones. This one is a very special car, there's a very specific thing.
No SEO, man.
Yeah, it's the same as Strata mode, which we don't like in general on Huracan.
Let's make it a manual.
Let's try the street mode.
Yeah, but the street mode's bad.
All right, look, we've given best driver's car to two Oricons that have the Strata
driver's
mode.
car.
I'm saying we've given our top prize to two of the same things.
Sometimes you know that there's only like two cars really that are in contention. You start driving one, you go like, nope, it's just gonna be these ones. And sometimes it's just, you drive it and like, nope, this is the winner. We're gonna go through the entire process. We're gonna be rigorous. We're gonna make sure, but you just get a feeling, after you drive it, like, yeah, no, this is gonna go all the way. And this year, we had a great finalist field, but it really was like two cars that were the ones that are really gonna fight for the win. And then a bunch of other cars that, were almost good enough to be as good as those other two cars, but weren't quite. I like the torque vectoring on this thing. It's like you really lay on that thing out of a corner and you really feel it pushing that outside wheel.
Just looking at like top speed, different parts of the track, you get all the performance of the CT4V Blackwing for $135,000 extra.
It was a great conversation. The team was great. We made some really smart calls on the track usage. We ran it backwards in the backwards configuration, which is safer for everyone. Overall, it was a great experience, and I'm glad, honored to be able to take part.
I'm right there, and it's neck and neck. Because it's not track car of the year, but performance vehicle of the year, it has all that other stuff that goes along with it every day. So there's value in that.
We have a consensus. 911 GT3 is our performance vehicle of the year.
It's hard to say that any 911 since the 1965 original is an advancement in design. Most feel the 992 generation is a small step backwards compared to the previous 991. But as Porsche GT boss Andy Pruinger has said, the GT3 is always the best looking 911. He's still not wrong. And of course, look at that glorious gooseneck wing. In terms of engineering excellence, the GT3 is a home run because not only does it feel like a super performer capable of setting one incredibly fast lap, it feels bulletproof, as if it could set 25 laps that would be identical in pace. If there's one piece of criteria that the 992 GT3 literally nails, it's performance of intended function. After all, the GT3 is intended to be the ultimate driver's 911. Guess what? It totally, absolutely, most certainly is. This is the 911 that calls to you, that beckons to you, that begs you to jump inside. This is the one driver's car that you cannot get out of your head. While we can't comment on the current 911's passive safety, as no one has bothered to crash test one, we can tell you that in terms of active safety, the GT3 is pretty good, especially if you count world-class brakes and a freakish ability to change direction, thereby avoiding a crash as part of active safety. Yeah, okay, it's kind of weird to say that a $200,000 car is a good value until you look at the fact that it's competing against the Lamborghini STO and the AMG GT Black Series, both of which cost over $335,000. While not designed with efficiency in mind, the GT3 is light and only has 6 cylinders instead of 8, 10, or 12. If you could somehow keep the revs below, say, 5,000, you might even beat the EPA estimates. The 2022 Porsche 911 GT3 is our inaugural performance vehicle of the year for many reasons. It excelled at the proving ground, up in the canyons, and out on the racetrack. The GT3 showed us that classic attributes like a manual gearbox and natural aspiration not only die hard, but deserve a seat at the modern sports car table. Speaking of sports cars, the new GT3 has made the jump from sports to supercar. The competition was close, especially that Lamborghini STO, but as I said in my notes about the Porsche, if it's not second, it's first. Turns out, it's first. Congratulations to Porsche and the GT department. The GT3 is MotorTrend's 2022 Performance Vehicle of the Year.